Yeah.
Probably drinking.
Oh, you're going to miss the Comnibol Liberty Bobbidores final.
Oh,
God.
shitbags. Oh. We'll take my passport out, never know where I end up.
Yes, go and watch it. Go and buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Come on, Ruben. We're off.
I ended up in Suffolk
I'm
once.
off, so best of luck.
See you later.
See you
Have a good
later,
one.
dude.
Good luck, boys.
Cheers, mate. It's a fight for second tonight.
Ba-ba-da-bum.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Simplay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action here live here at Simplay Motorsport for the next round of the GT4 Championship. And we are here in the land of the rising sun, but not much sun here at the minute. We've got cloudy conditions here in Japan at Suzuka, and what a night's worth of racing we have ahead of us. Will Friedman leading away in this practice session at the moment and looking very, very dominant at that with a time of 2 minute 11.2 and looking very, very strong here this evening. Like I said, good evening everyone. Let's hear from you in the chat, and let's hear you all supporting your drivers tonight. We've got a smaller grid tonight. We've got 18 cars. Sadly, we should have one more of Gary 131 joining us very shortly, but nonetheless, it is still going to be a fun packed night's worth of racing ahead of us. It is looking to be exciting nonetheless. With it being in these cooler conditions, the conditions might affect the overall run of the cars. They're going to feel very loose and the grip is going to be struggling, but they are going to give it their very best nonetheless, and we are looking forward to that. And just as we wait for Gary to get into the session, I'm now going to run through the championship standings as it is at the minute. Robert Ramsell, nice to see you in the chat. Hi guys. Gary Clarble, hello folks, and Will Friedman with the peace sign as well. Championship standings looking like this. It is Matthew Duffin leading the way with 908 points to his name. He's got 135 points ahead of Will Friedman. That sounds a lot, but in this championship it is all still to play for, especially with 3 rounds in one event. It is going to be all up for grabs nonetheless. Skunky is in third in the championship. Sadly, no Skunky this week. He's been caught up with work and renovating his house, and yep, he's decorating. He's sadly not able to race tonight or in the pro either. So I hope Skunky is well, and hopefully you'll see him back for the next round at Kota. Play 4 at the minute is Jamal Clouden in his Chevy Camaro. He's got 640 points. He's 268 points behind the championship leader. Gary Leach sat 5th in the championship, with Hugh Darren's that in 6th place position. 7th is NLR Andy, and in 8th it is Sam. 9th is Tipping, and in 10th is Kieran O'Reilly, who sadly could keep going down in order because he's still not got his wheel sorted or his pedals returned back. 11th in the Championships, Old Sim Racer, followed by Ian McGowan in that 12th place position. 13th is Nuclear Waste, and in 14th is Stardog. 15th is Matt Wright, and in 16th is Dan Taylor. KLF sitting in that 17th place position with Rob Smith in 18th. 19th is Collins, with DJ Phil in that 20th position. Susie's Cream 21st, with Diz in 22nd. Darren Bell, after waiting a long time to get his setup all back and running again, he has come back to the championship. He's 16th at the minute in the standings in the session, but he is 23rd in the championship. And what takes is Matt to score 1 point tonight, 16 points, and Darren Bell is officially out of the championship. Rolo is officially out, as is Lucas, Shane, Sky Shondermeyer, Stephen Millington, Cummings, Goudet, Putin, Pontin, Ramsel, Andrews, Jamie, Rushton, and Beasley, all out of the championship. Regarding the weight tonight, it's Matthew Duffin carrying 40 kilos with Will Friedman with 35. Obviously no Skunky tonight, so he would have carried the 30, while Jamal Clouden carries 25. Gary Leach will carry 20, who Darren will carry 15, and Andy will carry the 10 kilos as well. And as I say, it's Will Friedman setting the pace at 2:11.1 at the minute, really showing what the Porsche can do around here at Suzuka, and a brilliant circuit at that as well. And the only figure of 8 circuit that I believe is on the ACC game, and the only figure of 8 circuit that I can really think off the top of my head that we run at, or I could think in general, but a circuit with very demanding corners, and has held some fantastic final championship rounds in Formula One especially. It's held some great championships over the years, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. My camera is being a bit strange. And also my mouse is... for some reason there we go, I don't know why, but whenever I go onto that, it descends to have a little spasm. Either way, nonetheless, we are live and racing here. Jamie's just pulled over to the side, and in a minute the standings looking like this. Will Freeman setting the pace at the moment in his Porsche, then it's Ian McGowan in second, third is Matthew Duffin, Jamal Clouden in fourth, who Darren is in fifth, with Jamie sat in sixth, Old Sim Racer 7th, Stephen Millington in 8th, Dan Taylor in 9th, Andy in 10th, Tipping in 11th, Robert Ramsel in 12th, and Alistair Cummins in 13th. KLF currently in a 14th place position, Rob Smith in 15th, Darren Bell in 16th, Susie's Cream 17th, and DJ Phil bringing up the rear. Hopefully we will get Gary into the session. Now I'm not sure why I've got this horrible motion blur. Hopefully I can find a car. It should hopefully sort itself out, but either way, let me know if it's a bit rubbish. But nonetheless, we are ready to go racing here tonight. And it's Matthew Duffin and Will Freeman really looking for this championship at the minute. It is down to these two in the season, and Will Freeman's still got a lot of work to do. He's like Lando Norris, chasing down a competitor with a lot of points to his name. But we will see what they can do. It's going to be interesting to see what cars look good around here. I think the Chevy Camaro on paper should struggle around here. It's a circuit where power necessarily isn't the answer. It's all about how good the chassis and downforce is around here. And I think Jamal Clouden is going to struggle in that Chevy Camaro. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens. And I think also the Ginetta could be very strong around here, as is the Alpine. But we'll just have to see how well those guys get on this evening. So obviously the way this works tonight, guys, it's Pierre, and good evening to you. The way this works this evening, guys, we got 3 sprint races tonight for the GT4s. And Will in the chat saying yo 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 is not the 2:09 that I was expecting to come from him, as he's been quite confident around here. Yeah, it's 3 sprint races tonight. The first race is going to be based on a qualifying session that we're about to run. Top 10 in the championship cannot qualify, and that's the idea of splitting up the order a little bit, but everyone else can go out on track and go and set a lap time. That will then determine the grid for race 1. Once we then got the grid for race 1, it is a 20-minute sprint race with no pit stops required. I also realised why he's struggling not to get a 2:09. It is, the track is set to fast. They'll go into the 20-minute sprint, and in that 20-minute sprint, they will obviously have the faster guys towards the back, trying to work their way forward, and usually it creates some drama, and usually we get some new race winners. Race 2 would be based on a 5-minute qualifying session, with it being quite a long lap time round here. It's going to be key to get at least 1 lap time on the board, a banker lap, to fulfill and be happy with qualifying, but it is just getting to that line. And then into another 20-minute race, and then repeat again for race 3. Coming to the end of the session, and it is Will Friedman at the top. And Jamal Clouden now coming out of the final corner and try to take the shortest run to the line. And here he comes. Does he improve on his lap time? He does, and gets within 8/10 of Will Friedman. So the Chevy proving that it's got some pace underneath it, and it's just now DJ Phil coming to the line. And yeah, Will, very much so. Anything can happen. It is not a hot lap. Very, very true in the chat. And we'll see how you get on tonight. You're looking very strong and very confident. Patience is the game in this one. As here comes DJ Phil to the line. And no improvement from him. He stays to the back. We are now green and going into the first qualifying session. A reminder that the top 10 in the championship cannot qualify. So that is Matthew Duffin. Excuse me. We'll get on KLF here actually, because he is the first car out. So Matthew Duffin can qualify, nor can Will Friedman, nor can Skunky, Clouden, Gary Leach, Who Darren, Andy, Sam, Tipping, and O'Reilly. But obviously no O'Reilly here this evening, nor Leach at the minute, or Skunky. So it's going to be quite a few cars out on track, as Gary Leach hopefully should be getting out on track very shortly. And who do we think is going to look good in this one? Good luck to the qualifier, says Will Friedman in the chat. And if you do want to be a part of the action here at Simplay Motorsport, then please head over to our Discord and our Sim Grid to get yourselves involved in this season and in this championship. It's a great little championship that we host here for the GT4s. It's brilliant to watch, and hopefully they might make a return. We might look into a different category. We're looking at possibly Porsche Super Cup making the next jump or return to the championship, because we have run them in the past. But obviously it's down to the admins and up to the guys in the chat as well, and the drivers. It is your league. We will run what you guys want to see here. And I still think that motion blur is still there. I don't know why. Hopefully just playing around with this just to make sure the camera looks as sharp as we can get it. And it's going to be KLF to set the pace. So yeah, if you do want to be a part of the action here at Simplay Motorsport, then head over to our Discord and our SimGrid. And also, while you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss any of the action here at Simplay Motorsport. And if you do want to be a part of the new season next season, which will be coming very, very soon, then make sure you see what happens in the new year. We'll get sign-ups up as soon as possible. We tend to have a little bit of a break, but we are planning an off-season event as well, so we'll keep you up to date on what happens here. KLF, though, is going to set the pace. He's going into the S's as we speak. A very tricky set of corners to get right, making sure you hit every apex as best you possibly can. You've got to be patient, though. I can do that, but it doesn't stay. It doesn't want to. It doesn't like to stay there. It changes back. So, but I can give it a go. I don't have a camera 2 by the looks of things. Oh, there we go. There's camera 2. Hopefully it would stay there. Fingers crossed. It's appearing to stay there at the minute. Meanwhile, Alistair Cummins was the first one out, and he has set a lap time. He done a 2:23.5, so they still got 6 minutes left of this session. And into the main straight comes KLF now. So we're heading to 130R, where famously Fernando Alonso went around the outside of Michael Schumacher. Down towards the final chicane he comes, trying to get every last inch of road he possibly can. Make sure he doesn't run wide and ruin his lap time as he comes out of the final quarter now, keeping as much momentum as he possibly can to the line. KLF in the Ginetta coming to the end of his lap, and he does a 15.0 to set the pace. What does everyone else do? There's old sim racer in the background. Does he get a lap time on the board? Yes, he does a 14.2. Next is Robert Ramsell. He's next to come to the line. No lap time from him. Stephen Millington, any lap time? No, he doesn't set a lap time. So we've got Rob Smith now, no lap time for him, and then Darren Bell, he does go to lap time, sorry. He goes into 5th place, with Darren Bell now in 3rd place. And lap times are starting to come thick and fast here. Here comes Dan Taylor. DJ Phil crosses the line, he goes to 6th. And Dan Taylor goes into 7th place position, as Gary Leach has managed to get into the session. Ian McGowan looked pretty quick in the practice session. Into the final chicane he comes. And what can he do from there? And Ian McGowan does go top. He does a 2:11.7, so a good lap time in the Mercedes there. And we've got another car coming to the line that's on an invalid lap. I'm not sure who that is. It might have been Alistair. Yes, it was Alistair on an invalid lap time that time round. So we should see KLF coming back to the line once again, and he's got Jamie in hot pursuit. So KLF trying to stick with the pace of the guys at the front, but struggling to do so at the minute. But it's Ian McGowan setting the pace in the Mercedes-Benz. And towards the line comes KLF. Into the final chicane, he just needs to negotiate. He's got the Aston Martin hunting him down. Did KLF just invalidate that? No, it did count. Meanwhile, Darren Bell and Rob Smith are having a little bit of a drag race. But out the final corner comes KLF. Jamie right behind him. Does KLF improve? No improvement from him, but Jamie does improve and goes to 2nd. Old Sim Racer now takes that 2nd place. There's Robert Ramsell next to the line. No lap time for him. Stephen Millington next to the line. He goes P3. He's been looking mighty in the Pro-Am category. Now it's Rob Smith and Darren Bell once again. Rob Smith, no improvement. Darren Bell, no improvement either. Now we've got Susie Scream No improvement for him. He stays where he is for now as DJ Phil comes to the line. He's got Dan Taylor right behind him. And DJ Phil does not improve. Dan Taylor does and goes into 5th place. And once again into the final sector comes Alistair Cummings, I think. Nope, that is actually Ian McGowan, sorry. Ian McGowan exiting the final corner. Can he improve on the lap time? 11.7 at the minute. In the Mercedes-Benz, here he comes. And he does improve. He finds 0.3 to his lap time. As now Alistair exits the final corner. Currently 12 seconds off the pace, and he goes now into 5th place. He finds the lap time he needs. And KLF and Jamie quite close on track. Jamie's run wide, so he might have to bail out on that one, build himself a little bit of a gap, and allow KLF just to pull away. Down the straight they go. Into 139. Old Sim Racer isn't a million mile away from him, so you can just see how much pace that Porsche has got in the hands of Old Sim Racer. Into the final chicane we go once again. They'll cross the line and possibly start their final attempt. The KLF now P7 at the moment. Has he found a little bit more lap time this time round? He does find a slight improvement, but doesn't move any higher. Old Sim Racer, no improvement. Robert Ramsell still to put a lap time on the board. Alistair is done. Robert Ramsell does. He goes into 7th. Stephen Millington has set the same lap time as Old Sim Racer, but can't get ahead of him because Old Sim Racer set the pace first. Darren Bell and Rob Smith coming to the line now. Rob Smith first across the line. He improves, as does Darren Bell, goes back in front of him. Susie's Cream come to the line. No improvement for him either. DJ Phil in his Ginetta coming to the line. He's got Dan Taylor once again tailing in behind. Dan Taylor and DJ Phil, no improvement for either of them. And there's Ian McGowan on a lap, but he is probably going to return back to pits. Yes, he is. He is done for the session. And Jamie is, Alistair's already back in the pits. Is going to be KLF to finish qualifying runs here. He's going to be the first one to get there. Excuse me. Still got this annoying cough that I can't seem to shift. And KLF is now done for the session. And Jamie looks done as well. So it's Old Sim Racer now. And what can Old Sim Racer do here? Can he get a little bit closer to Ian McGowan? Or has he hit his wall? As we've lost actually Ian McGowan. He's been disqualified. And I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how he's been disqualified, but he has now lost pole position. I'm not sure how he's done that at all. But either way, Old Sim Racer is done for the session. He will not improve. He's on provisional pole at this stage. Robert Ramsell, though, exits the final corner. And he's flashing the lights. I think he might be on an improvement. And he goes 0.2 of Old Sim Racer, so not quite enough. Who is still on a lap. Susie's Cream is coming out of the final corner. And he's entering pit lane now. Darren Bell's done. Dan Taylor now into the chicane. I think he's still on a lap. Yes, he is. I think it's whenever a car returns back to the pits is when the camera changes. So I'll try and get that changed as soon as possible. But to the line, and Dan Taylor comes. And he goes sixth overall. So it's Old Sim Racer now who will start on pole position. As Ian McGowan did get disqualified one way or another. And that is that for qualifying done. I said Old Sim Racer on pole. Hopefully Ian McGann will be allowed to race. Yes, he just starts from the back of the pack. So it's Old Sim Racer starting on pole with Stephen Millington in second. Third is Jamie Allison in fourth. Robert Ramsell in fifth. Dan Taylor sixth. Darren Bell seventh. Rob Smith in eighth. KLF ninth. 10th is Susie Green. 11th is DJ Phil Friedman in 12th. Duff in 13th. Andy 14th. Clouden 15th. Tipping 16th. Who Darren 17th. Gary Leach 18th. And McGowan at the back of the pack. So driver, who do you think is going to win this one? As I will just try and do what I might have to do it the old-fashioned way. Apologies for this, guys. There's so much rubbish in here that you don't actually need most of it.
10 seconds.
I can't. It's annoying that because I can't just change camera. Anyway, we will go into the correct camera that we need. As they will get themselves ready to go racing it. We're stuck on Old Sim Racer for the meantime. So I said, Old Sim Racer starting on pole position ahead of Stephen Millington. Jamie will start in third. And who is going to take the first win tonight? As we got someone in the chat, 5Tef saying, do they win anything if they win or no? Obviously they win points in this in each round, and obviously those points lead to the end of the season, which there is a trophy at the end of the season for each category for GT4s, Pro-Am and Pros as well. So there is something at stake for these guys. So we'll see how they get on. And like I said, it's Matthew Duffin leading the way in the championship, and he's alongside his championship rival. Can Will Friedman bring the gap down? Can he do anything to stop Matthew, or is he going to be on this roll at the minute? I've now learned, thanks to Friedman, that if the car goes back into the pits, that's when the camera changes. So we're going to avoid looking at cars that go into pit lane until the end of the race at least. But race one tonight, it is Old Sim Racer on pole. Let's get a pole going, shall we? Like I said, guys, let's hear you in the chat. These guys, yes, we got a smaller grid tonight, but definitely is going to be action-packed nonetheless. Obviously, if you guys don't agree with what I'm typing at the minute, then feel free to put in who you think is going to win this one in the chat. as they will now start to get in a 2x2 formation as they get themselves ready to go racing. Get your prediction on who you think is going to win race 1. But it is Porsche and Aston Martin. Germany versus Great Britain on the front row. And Old Sim Racer versus Stephen Millington, who's had a very good run of form recently. Can he continue that on in these GT4s? As they now come down the main straight, they're in formation, they're in position, as we now wait for the green light. We are green and go racing here in Suzuka, and Andy gets himself a drive through for being out of position at the start as we head down towards turn number 1, and Darren Bell looks like he had a little bit of contact as Alistair runs wide. And there also is Will Friedman. He's been caught up in some form of incident as Matthew Duffin works his way through the pack, as Friedman's just going to take his time working his way through the order. But Old Sim Racer's got the jump. Jamie giving Stephen Millington a little bit of a bump there. And through the first couple of corners, there he goes. Old Sim Racer's trying to pull away very hard to beat the Martin overall, but if the Porsche gets the start, it looked like he'll be held out there. And yeah, Benny, that's a good choice, but good point. But at the minute, it is Old Sim Racer. He's a little bit loose going into Degner 1 as he tries to pull away Alistair at the back of the pack, but he is now trying to extend his gap. As Rob Smith has hit Jamal Clouden in the background. Dan Taylor's involved as well. There's multiple cars involved, and I believe Friedman has managed to get through all that. Yes, he has, but he's on the grass. He's on the grass, on the gravel, and he's going to hit Andy. And that was just unlucky, bad luck, and there's all sorts of chaos in the back of the pack as Ian McGowan is now trying to work his way through. Andy is trying to get going once again, and I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but Matthew Duffin already onto the back of KLF. But it's Old Sim Racer leading the way from Stephen Millington, from Jamie, from Robert Ramsell, Darren Bell, KLF, Matthew Duffin, Jamal Cloud, Rob Smith's gone very wide. It's Hugh Darren now behind them, and I think Gary Leach is behind him. Andy's down further back, and Will Friedman loads of positions down on his championship rival. But Old Sim Racer with the start he needed. Stephen Millington leading the Aston Martin train of cars. And it's KLF and Matthew Duffin going at it at the minute. Matthew Duffin trying to use the straight line grunt of the Mercedes-Benz. Down the main straight we go. Jamie's looking at Stephen Millington, but it's going to be Matthew Duffin who's going to be attacking KLF as he goes towards turn number 1. He's going to try and do it around the outside. The Mercedes should be able to get to that corner in time, but Matthew's going to stand up the inside, and job done for him as long as he keeps it on track. And another position gained for Matt, a little bit wiggly on exit though, and it's Will Friedman now with a big recovery drive to make up. There's a few cars running wide. We've got Andy in the pits serving his drive through. DJ Phil's got going as well, but it's back to the front. Old Sim Racer fastest lap and leading. Stephen Millington from Jamie, from Robert Ramsell, and then we got Darren Bell and Matthew Duffin, the two Mercedes-Benz. And Darren Bell's run a little bit wide there. That's going to get Matthew Duffin the run around the outside as they head towards Degner 1 and Degner 2. Matt doesn't really need to risk anything at the minute. His championship rival is down the order and struggling to work his way through. He just needs to pick his opportunities and time as he comes through. Will Freeman, meanwhile, is now on Ian McGowan and can see his rival, but he's quite a bit away up the road. Meanwhile, Stephen Millington doing a fantastic job of holding up Jamie at the minute, and that's just allowing Old Sim Racer just to have a nice buffer at the minute as they flood their way through towards Spoon. Really tricky corner to get right here, and Robert Ramsell just on the back of Jamie, trying to help out his fellow Cam racing driver Stephen Millington. Obviously they're not teammates in this one, but they are running similar liveries. And there, Jamie had a poor exit, and that's going to allow Robert Ramsell to get right onto the back of Jamie's car as they head up towards Degner 130R. And into 130R they go, and Jamie tries to send it a little bit more into the corner, and it helps him out to start off with as they head up to the chicane. Matthew Duffin looking interesting on Darren Bell, but not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Gary Leach and Ian McGowan going at it, and they've got Will right in the middle of it, and Will sends up the inside, and Gary just makes the corner, and Will Friedman is just behind Gary Leach, and Will Friedman's going to try and clear him as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Darren Bell straight to defending from Matthew Duffin. Excuse me. And again, down towards turn number 1, Will Friedman taking fastest lap of the race there. And this is what he needs to do. This first race is really going to be his biggest headache. And he's up the inside of Gary Leach. And he should be on the outside for then the next corner. If he's brave enough, he'll have the inside for the next corner, and he will do. And Gary gives him the space and respect. And through goes Will Friedman. So much more pace and confidence in that Porsche. Meanwhile, Jamie is starting to come under immense pressure from Robert Ramsell, and Jamie goes wide, makes a mistake, as Darren Bell's also gone off. He's made a mistake, and that's allowed Matthew Duffin 2 free positions there. Old Sim Racer, meanwhile, staying content and in control. He's still leading the way ahead of Stephen Millington. Robert Ramsell now under some pressure from Matthew Duffin, who's going to be looking all sorts of places. He's going to the outside of the hairpin. He gets quite close to the back of the Aston Martin and just has to be a little bit patient through there. Meanwhile, KLF has caught onto the back of Jamie, who Darren's not a million miles away, and he's dragging with him Will Friedman. Meanwhile, McGowan has cleared Gary Leach. They've all cleared Darren Bell. He's managed to get going once again, and Andy at the back of the pack, sadly. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer has just kept that gap at 1.4, 1.3 at the minute to Stephen Millington. So Stephen Millington not really doing much at the minute, as Matthew Duffin has now cleared Robert Ramsell. He's done it into Spoon, and now he just needs to worry about trying to catch the leaders, and how quickly can Will Friedman gain on Matthew Duffin. He can't let Matthew Duffin score too many points as they go into the chicane. KLF right onto the back of Jamie here, and here comes Darren and Will Friedman just behind them. Meanwhile, Jamal Clouden looking at making a move on Gary Leach, and Darren Bell is just behind them as well. So he's just recovering from his moment in turn 1. Stephen Millington, though, setting fastest lap of the race, and he's trying to hunt down Old Sim Racer. Meanwhile, Will Friedman is trying to find a way past on Darren, and Darren lets him through easy enough into turn number 1. He's now got his next target, which is KLF. And now he's onto at the back of this Matthew Duffin train. Can Matthew Duffin now bring the gap down to Stephen Millington, who's been looking quite competitive in Pro-Am and looking very strong here as well. And he's bringing that gap down to Old Sim Racer. What's happening further down the pack? Jamal Clouden has now cleared Gary Leach. And now Darren Bell wants a piece of the action, as the gap comes down to the front by 3/10. And already Will Friedman has got within 1.1 of KLF just in the first sector alone. So Friedman has got the pace to catch the leaders. This Old Sim Racer in control of this race so far. Stephen Millington in second. Matthew Duffin not really making any edge raise on the leaders as of this state. Jamie's trying to catch Robert Ramsell, but can't seem to do nothing. And there is Will Friedman. He is now onto the back of KLF within a couple of sectors, and he's ready to attack going into Spoon. KLF's gone a little bit wide, runs the curb ever so slightly. Got to compromise this run on the exit of Spoon. Will Friedman's had a brilliant run through there. Onto the rear wing of the Ginetta. Is he going to try it through 130R? Probably not that brave. He's going to look down the inside, and KLF gives him the space. Will Friedman gives him the space on the inside and the outside as well. Down towards the chicane they go. It's who's latest on the brakes. KLF is later on the brakes and keeps the position. Brilliant stuff there from KLF. Matt has brought the gap down to the leaders. Will Friedman will look to try and get a better exit, a better run down towards turn number 1. He's tighter to the inside. And here he comes down the main straight. There you go. KLF probably going to defend turn number 1. Friedman staying to the outside. McGowan's now setting the pace. He's gone purple and fastest. And Friedman struggling to clear the Ginetta at this stage. As the leading gaps have spread, Darren Bell has got past Gary Leach. He drops down the order a bit more. The Alpines not looking very competitive at the minute of Dan Taylor and Rob Smith. They're further back down, but Old Sim Racer still leading the way, 1.1 ahead of Stephen Millington. Matthew Duffin in 3rd, Robert Ramsell 4th, 5th is Jamie, and Will Friedman has cleared KLF. And through goes Will Friedman. Now Ian McGowan's looking up the inside of KLF as they go towards Degner 1 and thinks better of it. But Friedman held up quite a bit there by the Ginetta. Can he work his way forward as KLF has a big moment on the curb? And here comes McGowan to the outside. Into the hairpin they come. And up the inside goes Ian McGowan. And Hugh Darren just sneaks up the inside of the pair of them. But that Mercedes-Benz got a lot better straight line speed. And the Alpine has no answer to the Mercedes-Benz in a straight line, but into the corner they come. Jamal Clouden just trying to get onto the back of these guys, just get onto terms of them, but can't do so at the minute. The gap at the front has extended. Old Sim Racer has pulled away. And into the chicane, there goes Stephen Millington pulling away from Matthew Duffin. Matthew Duffin, no answer to the cars in front, and he's run wide and deep into the chicane as Robert Ramsell looking to try and bring that gap down. Jamie is not too far behind, and the ever so prowling Will Friedman chasing them down bit by bit. McGowan and Udaran pulling away from KLF, who's been hunted down by Clouden, and Gary Leach sideways as he's trying to get onto Darren Bell's rear wing. And Andy's just slowly creeping onto the back of DJ Phil. And there, Will Friedman within 6/10 of Jamie. He's looking left, he's looking right, he can't find a way through there. And Will Friedman looking for any opportunity just to sneak it up the inside and try and catch Jamie out when he least expects it. As they head now out of the long sweeping left-hander down towards Degner 1, and Will Friedman's already alongside. Jamie thinks better of it to fight with that fight, and once again Will Friedman makes another position up. Somebody on the grass there. Jamal Clouden's had a moment. He's got damage to his Chevy Camaro, and quite a lot of it as well, so he's going to be struggling towards the end here as Old Sim Racer leads the way from Stephen Millington, hunting him down. Matthew Duffin just dropped off the pace of the leaders. Can't see him, probably the weight starting to hurt him, as Robert Ramsell now heads towards the spoon corner and seemed to just be able to just match Duffin at the minute, but he's going to have his mirrors full of a Porsche towards the end of this race. The current gap to Matthew Duffin for Will Friedman is the same gap to Matthew Duffin to Stephen Millington as they come towards 130R. There is Matt in front of his championship rival, and Will is trying to bring that championship gap down as much as he can. He might struggle with this one, but as long as he can get onto the back of Matt and not give him too many points, that would be helping him out massively in his championship fight. Old Sim Racer, though, in control of this race still. 6.5 minutes left to go, and he'll be able to get another win to his name. Stephen Millington down towards turn number 1, chasing him down with his momentum at the moment, as Ian McGowan now getting past Jamie. He's going with Friedman at the minute, so Friedman still got a little bit of a Mercedes-Benz to worry about that's looking particularly quick in Ian McGowan. And here, Friedman once again on the back of the Aston Martin. Looking left, looking right, trying to find a way through. He can't find it through there. And then up towards Degner 1 he comes. He's slipped up the inside, and once again a brilliant run through here, and Robert Ramsell is going to keep his nose in front and keeps the position. Unlike Jamie, who gave up the positions, Robert Ramsell is fighting for it, and Duffin is starting to bring the gap down to the leaders, as he now seeing Friedman really attacking the other cars. And Ramsell defends the inside, and McGowan's gone with him. McGowan's trying to get onto the back of these two. Up towards Spoon Corner they come. And Friedman at the moment doing everything he possibly can just to clear this Aston Martin. Try and get a good exit, a good run through Spoon. Ramsell had a moment, and that's going to allow Friedman to try and go around the outside. Is he going to do an Alonso on Ramsell? They're quite even on pace here. Porsche versus Aston Martin. Who's going to be the brave one here? Robert Ramsell keeps his nose in front. They go side by side through 130R. They're staying side by side. And Will Friedman gets the job done. Oh, he's made contact with him. Robert Ramsell makes contact with Friedman there. Will Friedman, big damage to the front end of his car as Matthew Duffin now catches the leaders. And Will Friedman straight into the pits. Probably damage that he can't run with. Or is he possibly going in for a tyre change to try and steal the fastest lap? But old sim racer now, as the cameras have now gone back to the old settings, as I'll quickly change that. As I think I might have a spare keyboard here, so I might try and get that out. But old sim racer still leading the way. Stephen Millington in second, Duffin in third. Robert Ramsell now under pressure from Ian McGowan. And Robert Ramsell still pushing, really defending hard. And McGowan goes around the outside. And Robert Ramsell right on the rear wing there of the Mercedes-Benz. Jamie's now joined the party. And Robert Ramsell looking to try and work his way back in front of the Mercedes-Benz and can't seem to find a way through. Meanwhile, Kaloff has lost the position to... he hasn't lost the position to Jamal Clan. Jamal Clan's a lap down. Friedman does manage to get back out on track, and he's got a perfectly clean car. But he's only ahead of Jamal Clouden. Robert Ramsell, meanwhile, is under some pressure from Jamie. The leaders are fairly matched at the front at the minute. But here comes Jamie to 130R. They go again. Two Aston Martins close, and Jamie this time attempts to go around the outside. He gets the job done, as Robert Ramsell now has to concede that position. And the Alpine of Hugh Darren looking up the inside there. Can't get quite enough far along through. Hugh Darren, meanwhile, is still putting Gary Leach under some pressure, and Alistair Cummings not quite been able to fight these three. Matthew Duffin brought the gap down to half a second now to Stephen Millington. So this could be interesting to see if Matt will gain a couple more points here. He knows the championship rival is down the pack. Excuse me. And through the S's they go. Darren Bell has lost touch to Gary Leach, and Gary Leach trying to catch KLF. This is probably going to be the last lap of the race. But yeah, Matthew Duffin doesn't need to do anything stupid here. He's in third place. He's got the points over his championship rival. He just needs to bring the Mercedes home. Flashing the lights of Stephen Millington. Looking to send it into the hairpin, but not close enough. Or possibly too close at that point. And Stephen Millington know that Duffin's there. He's now put his foot down, and they got within an 8/10 of old Sim Racer. To Spoon they go. Matthew Duffin getting closer, but I don't think he's going to have enough here unless he has a great exit out of Spoon. He has a slide there, but there's a thing, I think that's going to compromise him unless they get one more lap here. Freeman, meanwhile, keep an eye on him. He'll probably go for fastest lap now. But here we go, top three going into 130R. Are we going to get one more lap, or is this the last lap? Down towards the chicane we go. That was Matthew Duffin's one and only shot. We'll go on board with old Sim Racer, who's been brilliant from lights to flag. He's led every lap. He's hold the pole. He's going to win the first race here. Old Sim Racer comes to the line and wins race one here. But who is it going to be? Is it going to be Stephen Millington, or is it Matthew Duffin? It's Duffin from Millington. McGowan's going to come home for fourth place position. Ramsdell's dropped further back. He's dropped down to a few places behind Hugh Darren. Jamie in fifth. Robert Ramsdell will finish in seventh, with Hugh Darren in sixth. KLF is going to hang in there for eighth place, ahead of Gary Leach, ahead of Darren Bell, ahead of Alistair Cummins. Dan Taylor is going to come home for 12th place position. Susie's Cream is going to finish in 13th, with Rob Smith not too far behind. And Tipping is then going to finish in 15th place position, with Andy coming home in 16th. DJ Phil is going to finish in 17th. Will Freeman's going for fastest lap, but he's continued on going. He's 18th at the minute. As DJ Phil exits the final corner, he will take 17th place position. Now Friedman, is he going to steal fastest lap right at the very end? As he comes out the final corner to complete 18th place position. And Will Friedman, does he steal fastest lap right at the end? He does, so he does get a point to his name. Will Friedman takes the fastest lap away from McGowan there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was race one. Old Sim Racer taking the win. We'll be back shortly as we will have the next qualifying and then race two underway. Don't go anywhere.
Green light, go, go, go. go, go.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is either going to go brilliantly or it's going to go terribly, because I have managed to get hold of a keyboard, and we are able to change cameras. Oh. Like I said, I am just playing around with this. I have no idea what I'm doing. But we are on board with Gary Leach at the minute. And he's working his way through the S's at the minute. And he's just sat behind Alistair at the minute, trying to set a lap time. Who's in his Alpine at the minute. Probably it's either going to be, I don't know if it's actually Duffin who's out in front. Yes, it is. Matthew Duffin going to be setting the pace. I'm not sure why I can't change camera on the keyboard, but I'll keep playing around with it. Hopefully something will work. As I'm gonna have to go on board with him now and just change the camera. I will have to find out some information from Duffin and try and figure out why I will get the hang of this eventually, but it will be Matthew Duffin to be the first man to set the pace, as he's now coming down the main straight. What lap time is he going to set? It's a 2:11.9, and we do know a lot of drivers can go fast now. Ian McGowan's one of them, and he goes faster. Andy gets close to Duffin as KLF sets a lap time. He's a little bit slower. He's got Darren Bell just in front of him. A few others coming to the line. Alistair crosses the line, he goes fourth. Gary Leach goes fifth. Rob Smith, we're on board now, he goes eighth. And Old Sim Racer does manage to cross the line to do one more lap. As where is Will Friedman? Here he is. His one and only lap. Is it enough for pole position? And Stephen Millington goes 5th. Will Friedman goes top. He goes a 2:09. Can anyone go faster than that? Tipping now coming to the line. He goes a P11. It is now down to the rest of the guys. Matthew Duffin is done and returned back to the pits. It's now Ian McGowan and the rest of the guys, as Jamal Cloudens made a mistake in Degner too, so he's done for the session as well. But it's Friedman on pole at this moment. As Ian McGowan heads towards Spoon now. He runs a little bit wide on the exit. Spoon there, trying to find every 10th he can get. As Andy's just behind him. Andy's looking pretty quick. He just needs to find a couple of 10ths and he'll go ahead of Duffin. Leach is another one to keep an eye on. Who Darren's got the pace as well. But it will be McGowan who's going to be the first one to come to the line. Into the chicane he goes. Fraser in the chat saying, howdy, nice to see you in the chat, Fraser. As they have a good exit out of the final corner here. What can McGowan do? Has he found the 2/10s that he needs to get ahead of Will Friedman? He does. He goes pole position, and Friedman now in a interesting position. Hugh Darren now coming to the line, as Andy didn't improve either. Gary Leach and Hugh Darren coming to the line. Hugh Darren doesn't really improve much. Gary Leach goes to P5. We've got Rob Smith in the background as well. He's now coming to the line. And he only goes in 11th place position. But it is McGowan who steals pole position there away from Will Friedman. So a good lap time hit from him there. And as I keep trying to figure out how to use this keyboard on the... it's all new to me. This is, as I've been told, the keyboard is a way of changing it. I forgot to get rid of the poll, so we'll end that there. As it seems to want to work at the start, and then it doesn't want to play ball after that. I am pressing every key and seeing what does what, but I think, yeah. But it is Will Friedman who's lost pole position there to Ian McGowan. And he's going to start on pole. Matthew Duffin is alongside a championship rival, but there's a load of other fast cars around that will be interested in trying to make a move.
30 seconds.
Oh, okay, so here we go. There's a button. Should be another good race without front. Hope he keeps the pace and out of trouble, seeing if he can be a magnet tonight. Okay, right, so I think if we go camera 1.
10 seconds.
Nope. Oh, wrong button. And we're stuck again. I apologize for this, guys. I am trying something new and different here. But the cars will now pull away. Off goes McGowan. I can't return to the pit now. But what we can do at this stage is change camera here. And fingers crossed it all stays relatively clean as we go into the start of this race. McGowan does seem to have the pace here, but Will Friedman looks just as confident here. Duffin's at the minute best of the rest and just trying his very best to stick with them at the front, but that's all he can do for the moment. excuse me. It's a shame that we don't have Skunky here tonight either, because Skunky would definitely be one to keep an eye out in that Ginetta. He would have been very, very quick around here. I can't seem to type now. But if you do like the action here at Simply Motorsport and you do want to be a part of the action next year in the brand new year, then head over to our Discord and also our SimGrid as well. Get yourself in the channel, get yourself a part of the racing here, and you too can be a part of the grid. We're not sure if the GT4s will be making a return, but nonetheless, they have been fantastic this season and been awesome to watch as always. And yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at Simply Motorsport. But who is going to be top dog in race 2? Obviously, don't agree with the drivers that I've picked, then feel free to write your opinion in the chat on who you think is going to win this race. If any of the drivers are listening, or if you are a fan of Simply Motorsport and you do want to help support the channel, then there's obviously our Patreon system where you pay £3 a month and you can reserve all sorts of fantastic things, such as reserving your race number so that no one else can use it, and it will forever be your number. For example, my Patreon number would have been 16, so no one would have been able to run that number. Also, you get promo images done for seasons to come, and you'll get your social media and YouTube links sent straight to the Discord and posted on there so everyone can see them instantly. And also, you'll get track selections, help towards track selections as well. McGowan's actually ended back in the pits. So McGowan's starting from pit lane here. I'm not sure how or why people are doing this on the start of the race, but nonetheless, they are back in the pits. And McGowan's going to have to start from there. As we will get things underway here, hopefully I can get back to the normal cameras very shortly, but it's going to be now Will Friedman on pole. McGowan's not going to take the start of this race. He's going to start from pit lane, as will Alistair. As they now come down the start, finish straight. McGowan in the pits. The cameras just broke again because I ended up accidentally clicking on the wrong driver. Good evening to Skunky. Just time for race 2. It is indeed Duffin versus Friedman. And we are green and go here at Suzuka for race 2 as Will Friedman leads the way with Matthew Duffin right behind, and Jamal Cloudon's already onto the grass further back as they head towards turn number 1. KLF down the insides and try and get through on Hugh Darren, and he does so. DJ Phil and Alistair ended up both in the pits as well as they head up towards the S's. Looks like Gary Leach got a good start as well. He's already onto the back of Matthew Duffin as I'm now going to change camera. Onto camera 2 so we can see more of the action. Apologies guys, but we are back. And Friedman still leading the way from Duffin, from Gary Leach, from Andy. Now, can Gary do anything about the leaders? That's the question. He's probably had a couple of laps. He's understood the car, what needs tweaking and changing, and now he's looking to try and hunt the leaders down. He's got a little weight to himself as well as Andy, not too much weight, but Stephen Millington going to be looking fast, as is Hugh Darren, and everyone else starts working their way through towards the hairpin. McGowan, DJ Phil and Alistair have all got going. Old Sim Racer, your winner of race 1, is now working his way through the order. He's now working past Dan Taylor and makes a position there. Meanwhile, Duffin is not allowing Friedman to disappear. He's going to try and stick to the back of that Porsche as best he possibly can. But again, Matt doesn't have to do too much at this stage. He's got the championship in hand. He can sit behind Friedman, allow him to take some race wins and just finish in second. He's got that buffer at the minute as they head into 130R. Meanwhile, further back, Rob Smith looking like he's about to be overtaken by Jamal Clouden around the outside of 130R. Beautifully done from him there as Jamie is trying to find a way through on KLF, who's on the back of Darren Bell, who's all being held up by Stephen Millington, who's had a poor run through the 130R, and he's got Darren Bell and KLF all breathing down his neck as they head towards turn number 1 once again. How quickly can Ian McGowan get onto the back of the pack? But it's Will Friedman leading the way from Duffin, from Gary Leach, from Andy. Darren Bell's gone a little bit wide there, as has Darren as well. So both the Alpine and the Mercedes ran a little bit wide there, and that's allowed KLF just to be a little bit more interested onto the back of the two in front. And Jamie right on the back of KLF. He's looking to the outside through the S's. He goes, he can't quite find a way through there. He's going to have to sit behind them a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Friedman starting to get comfortable and start to build a gap on Duffin. Leach just a bit behind them, not quite got the pace of the two in front. As we come back to the KLF Clouden Jamie fight, further back Rob Smith is still trying to defend from Robert Ramsell, and old sim racer Dan Taylor just behind as well. As Darren Bell has made a mistake and is being mugged by the entire pack. Darren goes through, and Darren Bell losing out to KLF, and now he's under pressure from Jamie. So KLF up another position there, as is Darren. They'll say thank you very much, and through they go. Jamal Clouden looking for a move on Jamie here. He's looking left, looking right. Jamie goes to defend the inside of Spoon, then comes to the outside of Spoon, moving a lot in the braking zone there. As Rob Smith, meanwhile, further back has gone extremely wide. But down the main straight of 130R they come, and Jamie is now putting the pressure on Darren Bell as they go into the left-hander. Jamie's right on the rear wing of Darren Bell, not wanting to give an inch, and just about as much room as he is allowed. End of lap 1, and Will Friedman has a half a second gap over Matthew Duffin. And says fast out of the race. He's now 1.2 ahead. Gary's now caught a little bit closer to Duff, and Andy not a million miles away. Stephen Millington pulling away from Darren. Now KLF's got Darren Bell breathing down his neck. He's got Jamie just behind him as well. Into turn 1 they go. Through the S's, they work their way through the Ginetta, quite strong in the corners, but he's got two very, very mighty grunting machines of a Mercedes and an Aston Martin breathing down his neck. Skunky in the chat, with racing games these days, mainly in leagues, they thought that with the streaming and everything on board, they would make the cameras a lot better. I totally agree. I mean, there's still one game in my mind that does not compare to when it comes to streaming. KLF's gone very wide, bit late on the brakes there, probably compromising his run through there as the three cars works his way through. Got probably caught out by the heavy braking from Darren Bell, uncertainty of braking, and KLF up the inside of Jamal Clouden and gets the job done there as they head up towards Spoon. Only one game in my mind has actually managed to nail it, and sadly it's a bit old now, but Rob Smith meanwhile is putting Jamal Clouden under pressure after being pushed aside by KLF. Robert Ramsell's now up the inside. Jamal Clouden's going to hold the outside line, and Jamal Clouden's going to try and get a run through. And once again, Jamie and Darren Bell are going at it. They're side by side, heading up to 130R. Jamie ended up on the grass. And Jamie giving the flash of the lights to Darren Bell. He's right up the rear wing of that Mercedes-Benz. And to the outside he goes. And both look like they missed the corner, and they do. KLF's going to be interested once again. And this scrap at the minute is absolutely phenomenal right now. KLF now under some pressure from Jamal Clouden, who's going to look left, look right. He's going to the outside. He's going to break a little bit sketchy onto the grass there. Bit brave, but he can't get the job done on KLF. KLF has a door opening now as Jamie has a moment through turn number 1. But KLF just falls into place. Doesn't quite have the grip as just further back. Dan Taylor's had his own moment and dropped down the order. Back to the front, Will Friedman, long gone from Matthew Duffin, who's in second. Third is Gary Leach. Fourth is Andy. Stephen Millington in fifth. And then that's where all the drama kind of ends from there. Hugh Darren in sixth. Then it's Darren Bell, who's got Jamie, KLF, Jamal Clouden. Oh, Robert Ramsell's had major damage. Not sure what's happened there, but Robert Ramsell has had major damage there and is going to drop down the order. Once again, it is KLF and Jamal Clouden going at it once more, and they're all climbing onto the curb and grass there. And Jamie runs very wide. KLF runs a little bit wide, but not as wide as Jamie does. But Jamie will get a slingshot out of the corner. And down towards Spoon they go. And up can Clouden find a way through here. He's better off using the grunt of the Chevy Camaro against the Ginetta of KLF here. He's trying to get an overlap here, but he can't quite get it. Darren Bell not disappearing into the distance, so anyone can gain positions here. And KLF has to defend 130R. He's going to stay to the racing line. Jamal Clouden to the inside, and he gets the job done. And up to the chicane they go. Through the chicane, and Jamal Clouden gets that job done. Meanwhile, Jamie has got past Darren Bell, but he's flashing the lights quite aggressively there. He's clearly not happy with Jamie for some reason. Not racing tonight, Gary. Oh no, he's Gary Clarble. Yes, he races in the Pro-Am. I don't think he races in these anyway. As Darren Bell's gone wide, that's going to open the door to Jamal Clouden. And through the S's they go. And Hugh Darren still pulling away from the scaffold. Now Jamie is in that 7th place position as Darren Bell now becomes the cork in the bottle. And Old Sim Racer has now joined the pack. So Old Sim Racer joining the back of the pack at this stage. And Old Sim Racer looking to try and make a move on KLF. He can't find a way through at this stage. Jamie there, he's not really pulling away from this gaggle of cars either. He's still within reach of them. He's gone very deep at the hairpin, and that's really inviting the rest of them. And Darren Bell really flashing the lights at Jamie. Whatever he's done, he is not happy with. And Clouden's got an overlap. He's got a run here. He's not quite close enough. And just has to fall in formation again. Into Spoon once again. Darren Bell's gone very wide. Clouden not quite close enough there. He runs wide again on the exit of Spoon. And once again, Jamal Clouden not able to capitalise, but he's had a good exit out of Spoon. And the Chevy Camaro right behind the Mercedes-Benz. Into 130R. Jamal Clouden's Chevy could just eat curbside. There's no tomorrow. And he's right on the back of the Mercedes, but can't quite get the overlap he needs. We've got Max Mulder in the chat as well. Nice to see you in the Max Mulder in the chat. Nice to see you, buddy. But Will Friedman controlling the race at the minute. He hasn't got fastest lap. Yeah, goes to Ian McGowan at the minute. Matthew Duffin in second. Gary Leach in third. Andy's in fourth. Stephen Millington in fifth. He's been hunted down by Hugh Darren ever so slightly. And Jamie has made another mistake somewhere. And once again, Darren Bell is back on the rear wing of him. In 8th, 9th is Cloud, in 10th is KLF. He's got Old Sim Racer for company. Rob Smith in 12th, Tipping in 13th, Dan Taylor in 14th, Susie's Cream ahead of McGowan, who's already done Alistair, DJ Phil, and Robert Ramsell, who's obviously repaired his car. But we go back to this squabble. Skunky, I'll try my best to make it Thursday, but it's not looking good. I love Suzuka too. I really do hope he makes it as well, but we shall see how that all pans out. And Darren Bell hits the back of Jamie. Contact made. And Jamie trying to get going, but can't seem to do so. He's got to wait for every car to come flooding through, and Susie's Cream goes straight into the side of him. As he drops down the order, Jamal Cloudon's had a moment. He's made a mistake through the hairpin, and up the inside comes KLF in his Ginetta. As KLF goes to the outside of Spoon, Cloudon will have the inside. He's going to try and brake later. He's gone deep, and KLF switches underneath, and a beautiful little move there from KLF, and he will get that position back from Jamal Cloudon. And nicely done from KLF, but he's now going to get out-dragged by the Chevy Camaro down towards 130R. Here they come, 130R KLF. Oh, Jamal Cloudon get close and they make contact. And through into the chicane they're going out. Oh, that Old Sim Racer benefited from that one, and KLF losing out. And Jamal Cloudon has to fall back behind KLF once again. I think it's going to be difficult for KLF to fight this one off this time round, as they head down towards turn number 1. Jamal Cloudon should get the job done in turn number 1, and he will do so. But he's gone deep, he's gone wide, and he's made a mistake. And KLF goes back. Oh, KLF has a little slide himself, and Jamal Cloudon's going to go around the outside into the S's. Oh, they're so close to one another. Jamal Cloudon trying anything he can to get past the Ginetta, but he can't seem to find a way through at the minute. He's looking all sorts of positions, but he's going to go around the outside of Dunlop, and again he's pushed out onto the grass. Susie's Cream with major damage is into the pits. Jamie, has he managed? Yes, he's continued on going. Robert Ramsell had major damage earlier on. But Will Friedman at the minute, 5.5 minutes to go in this race, and he has got the lead comfortably in hand. Ahead of Matthew Duffin in second, Gary Leach in third, top 3 for you. Andy, a little bit closer to Gary now, started to bring that gap down. Steve Millington in 5th, and Hugh Darren still not leaving him go in 6th, as Darren Bell is now being hunted down by Old Sim Racer. KLF and Jamal Cloudon looking like they're going to continue their fight on once again. And just behind all of them is Ian McGowan. He's been slowly working his way through the pack. Headed to 130R, Old Sim Racer turns in and tries to cut down the gap to Dan and Dan Taylor and Tipping. Ian McGowan have come together. And KLF and Cloudon still going at it at this stage. Skunky in the chat saying that Cloudon is angry, and he's trying his very best to try and clear that Ginetta as best he can. KLF looking to defend the inside of turn number 1, and Jamal Cloudon going to the outside. He's going to try to swoop his way around. Once again, he can't find a way through on the Ginetta. Big slide there for Cloudon. And once again, he can't find a way through on that Ginetta. trying his absolute hardest right now is Jamal Clouden, just to find a way through on the Ginetta. He's up the inside this time round. KLF's going to be on the inside for Degner 1. Clouden on the outside of Degner 2. They go through there, and Clouden once again has to rub doors with the Ginetta. And once again, KLF defends the inside for his might, and I think it's finally done. Jamal Clouden gets through as Tipping now joins the back of this pack. And Jamal Clouden losing the position there to KLF. Oh. Friedman, meanwhile, way out in front. And through the chicane he goes. Is he going to try and get fastest lap of the race here? 11.5 ahead of Matthew Duffin. Friedman's just got the pace. Once he managed to get away, he has been in control of this race ever since. Is this going to be fastest lap for him? No, it's not. So Ian McGowan's got some good pace in that Mercedes-Benz. Meanwhile, Gary's now under some pressure from Tipping, who's hunting him down. Benny and Chastain signed up to the reserve list for the next few rounds. Now looking at joining the Patreon as well as a paid member. Sounds amazing, Benny. Thank you so much for doing so. And all the information you'll need will be in the Discord. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer has caught on to the back of Darren Bell. And into turn 1 they go. And Old Sim Racer can't find a way through at the minute. Tipping now onto the back of Gary Leach. I do apologise for the cameras. It's gone back to the the original cameras. But through the left-hander they go. Gary Leach, can he just hang on in there for another podium to his name? As their Old Sim Racer now looking to make a move on Darren Bell as they go up towards Degner 1 and 2. Into the first kink they go. Darren Bell holds on to his position. Old Sim Racer is right there, but Darren Bell goes wide though, makes a mistake. And Old Sim Racer looking at him on the inside, going towards the hairpin, but not quite close enough this time round. Gary Leach meanwhile under pressure from Andy. He's going to look up the inside of Spoon. He goes deep, does Andy, and that's going to allow Gary Leach back through. And Stephen Millington isn't a million miles away from these guys either, so he's still got a chance to score some points here. Meanwhile, there is a car in pit lane. I'm not sure who it is. It is Dan Taylor in pit lane. Old Sim Racer now being chased by Old Sim Racer chasing Darren Bell. But let's go back to the final podium position. Stephen Millington pushing the limits as Will Friedman starts his final lap here. And Gary Leach now trying to defend for his mark. He's had to pit. Gary Leach is low on fuel. He's had to pit. Gary Leach to pit lane. So Andy is going to be promoted to 3rd place. And here comes Stephen Millington. He's looking to try and make that move as Old Sim Racer now is on the back of Darren Bell. Meanwhile, Ian McGowan is also onto the back of KLF, so it's all happening towards the end of this race. Stephen Millington hunting down Andy to try and take the final podium position. Old Sim Racer trying to get into 6th place position to be ahead of Darren Bell. And then there is McGowan who's trying to clear KLF. Millington at the minute not quite close enough to Andy. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Old Sim Racer, Gary 131 stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. That's really ruined the rest of his night there. As Old Sim Racer still can't find a way through on Darren. Andy still defending from Steve Millington, and KLF has lost out to Ian McGowan. No, Ian McGowan's up the inside of Degner too. He has a little slide there, and KLF losing out to the Mercedes-Benz. Oh, Darren Bell's in the wall. As KLF goes for the undercar on Ian McGowan, but it's not going to happen against the mighty Mercedes. But it's Darren Bell who's made a mistake in the hairpin, or his possible contact with old sim racer. He's dropped down the order. But we go back to your leader, who's been absolutely dominant this race. Will Friedman exits the final corner, and he is going to win race number 2 here at Suzuka. Will Friedman takes the win and gains a couple points back on Matthew Duffin. Duffin into the final chicane now. He's going to come home for a solid P2. Meanwhile, Stephen Millington has managed to get past Andy in the final chicane. And Matthew Duffin will take second place there. And Stephen Millington coming to the line. He is going to finish in third place position. Andy finishes in fourth. Darren in fifth. Old Sim Racer is going to finish in sixth place position. Susie Green crossing the line in 17th. Darren Bell is just going to hang in there for 7th ahead of Jamal Clouden in 8th. Ian McGowan fastest lap in 9th. KLF in 10th. And Tipping will finish in 11th. Rob Smith in 12th. Alistair in 13th. Jamie, in the end, will finish in 14th place position. As Robert Ramsell crosses line 18th. Gary Leach will finish in 15th place position and ahead of DJ Phil, who will eventually go back ahead of Gary Leach. And to the line comes Gary. DJ Phil will finish in 16th place position. And that was race 2 done. We'll be back in a few short moments' time as we will get our third and final qualifying session and race 3 underway. We'll be back in a few moments' time.
Shut up, man. Wind your neck in and fuck back off to the com box.
Dan, I'll fill you in. 10.5 litres.
No, I don't give a fuck about Gary.
Oh,
That's right there.
How the fuck do you change cameras on a fucking keyboard?
Go into settings.
Right.
No, go into options.
Wait. Options, yes.
Press controls.
Yep.
Come back out.
Yep.
And then it should be F3 for TV cameras, F6 cycles, car cameras.
Okay.
Sweet. No worries.
Is it just helicam?
Replay, though, because
no, helicam and camera. So after
oh, because you're in the pit lane, aren't you?
Yeah. So when you're out on track, it'll do. When you're in pits, it'll do camera 1, helicam. When you're out on track, camera 2 is always better.
All right, cool. Cheers.
Jamie, no worries. 40. Ramsell.
That's all I was on. Everywhere else was boring.
10,
yeah, it was very good.
Cummins, 13.
Respect, blood.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. And Gary.
Shut up.
Sort your fucking fuel up.
10.5 litres too heavy in race 1, Dan.
10.5, 2 litres too heavy, and this time it would have been just the right amount.
I run out down the start straight.
And he got a stop go. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I know. I saw that bit.
Out.
You ball bag. What up, Dad?
Dickhead.
Oh, you're giving him sabs, are you? Wow. Oh, no.
Gary, you've missed a trick there, to be fair. You should have given it him for race 3.
Yeah.
Yes, Wickham have scored a 93rd minute winner against the Stags. Footless Stags. Yeah. Oh, that's piss poor. That's a piss poor goal.
So, Gary, how?
How what?
Like, I mean, you knew Will Friedman was going to be in front and piss off and go faster, then surely they would add another lap. So...
Yeah, I know.
No, there is no bless him.
He's a
He'd be
cunt.
first to rip the shit
I
out
mean-
of any of us for running out of fuel.
You're fucking right, I would be.
Right.
I'll tell you what, Gary. I'll give you that. It's because you're not like me. You're not a sweat who spends hours and hours getting it right. So I'll give you that. Considering you just jumped on, used my setup, and managed to nearly get a podium, I'll give it to you. All right.
I was on aggressive in the first race, if there's any consolation.
You were on what?
I was just on aggressive setup in the first race.
Mate, I know you're always on aggressive in the first race. You don't know what the fuck you're doing until you get the end of race 1 done.
I didn't know what it was going to do.
Every GT4 race so far, you've run aggressive, and then in race 2 and 3, you've actually been good.
Yeah, I was tweaking setup out of race 1, but then Kelly said, "Do you want one?" I was like, "Yeah, all right then."
You know, as I said, race that would have been Gary's 100th podium, Jay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been. It would have meant he was on 99. Race 1, I got me 150th though. Get on. Forgot about that.
Sweat.
Why?
What? Hang on a minute. Why do you call me a sweat when you then this fucking sweat? You know, he's got his 150th podium now.
Oh, don't worry, I call him a sweat too.
Yeah, he does.
He's actually, arguably, he spends more time on it than I do.
No, that's debatable.
I haven't even touched it this weekend.
I've got more time on my PlayStation. I don't spend my time on it. No way.
I mean, FRL and fucking ARL.
GT3's not GT4, so it's not testing.
Still driving.
Well done then.
Yeah, I was done.
Anyway.
General chat. Yeah.
ACC general chat or general chat, whatever.
Oh, Cloud and Great Race. Fucking load of shit.
I mean, you could have put that.
Hey.
I mean,
that makes a change. This time last week, Gary, you were calling Gladden a cunt.
I mean, it would have been good for you, Gary. It would have been good for you, Gary, if you actually got to the end with fucking fuel on board. But
I'm well aware, thank you.
actually, to be fair, Gary, all the best. Do it. You know,
Yeah.
all the best.
Yeah, we do.
Exactly.
You know, I wouldn't. You
can't teach it, can you? You know.
No, exactly.
How many times you ran out of fuel, Gary? Since in play? Do you know?
Cool.
Nah,
Not
probably
many.
not. What a fucking stupid.
Anyway, later.
I've normally got
See you
about
in a
20 litres extra.
That's how you do it.
Why does it always rain on me when I run out of my gasoline?
You are so gonna have a shit race 3 now. Karma's gonna
swear.
hit you so bad. Why? Why? Where's Matt going?
Bye, sweat.
DJ Phil, return to pits, you penis. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Simply Motorsport. We are just waiting for the end of free practice to end. Obviously, these small free practices that we have is just to allow the drivers to get themselves a little bit of a comfort break, grab a drink, grab some food if they need to, and also allows you guys to grab a cup of coffee as well, as we are going to get ourselves back to the action. And my good friend Matthew Duffin has now explained to me how I can change the cameras on the keyboard, and we should be all good to go for this one as they all work their way out of the pit lane, desperate to get a lap time on the board. And it's KLF who's going to be out first. Will Friedman just wait a little bit longer here. Obviously waiting for the guys to clear it as I press the buttons. And we do have some cameras. Can I, yeah, I can feed through all of them. Fantastic. We've got cameras too, and we got a heli cam. Oh, you know. Project Cars 2 still does it better than ACC, but we have got a heli cam now, and we can go on board with some drivers also. Fantastic. Right, Stephen Millington already making a move on KLF as they go up towards Degner 1 and 2, and all these cars are very close to one another, and they're not going to help themselves out here. Robert Ramsell now goes up the inside of KLF, so having a mini race as it is already. But as we look at the championship standings, we've got a few drivers now out of the championship. But it's still Matthew Duffin leading the way on 1,008 points at the minute, and 167 points ahead of Will Friedman, who's still trying to chase him down. Skunky still starting third at the minute, but Jamal Clouden is not too far behind in P4. Gary Leach in P5, who Darren is in P6. P7 is Andy, and P8 is Old Sim Racer. Ian McGowan sat in P9 as Tippings is in 10th place position. Sam is still mathematically in it, but he's going to be out of it after this race. And O'Reilly in 12th, Nuclear Waste 13th, Stardog 14th, KLF 15th, Taylor in 16th, Wright in 17th, 18th is Smith, Susie's Cream in 19th, DJ Phil 20th, Darren Bell 21st, Collins 22nd, Diz 23rd, Rolo 24th, Millington in 25th, Lucas 26th, Shane in 27th, Cummings in 28th, Shandon 29th, Ramsell 30th, Jamie 31st, Goudet 32nd, Pontin 33rd, Andrews 34th, Rushton 35th, and Beasley in 36th position. They are your championship standings. As Stephen Millington is on a lap, we'll go on board of him as he goes through the S's here. He's already been through turn number 1, making sure he has a great run through the S's. You have to be relatively patient going through these couple of corners. And just working his way through second and third gear up towards the left-hander. Running up the long hill as he comes towards the first Degner. Down towards the Degner he comes, braking at the 50 board, turn in. Drop down one gear, he's running a little bit wide, but he has kept it within limits. Down towards Degner 2, get a good extend, go underneath the bridge, heading up towards the hairpin. Braking at the hairpin. It goes a little bit deep, but that'll gain him time on entry. He'll run a little bit wide on exit. As they then head towards Spoon after doing the long right-hander, just braking on the surface, sorry, to the right-hand side, get it turned in, run it as wide as you dare onto Spoon and try and give yourself the best exit as you possibly can in the second part of Spoon. And then heading down to 130R, he's got the Mercedes of Matthew Duffin right behind him, and I believe that is Jamal Clouden as well, just behind them, as Will Freeman still not left the pits. He's going to start from P4 here. The back of the pack, actually. So, towards the chicane they come. Make sure he gets the braking done and turned in. Matthew Duffin cashing onto the back of Stephen Millington here. He's not had the best run here, and he's got a Mercedes-Benz breathing down his neck. And on the helicopter cam, you can see how close they are as Matthew Duffin is in the toe of the Aston Martin, and they will get another lap. And Stephen Millington sets the pace, but it's Jamal Clouden who's gone fastest. I don't believe Will has got a qualifying ban. He was qualified earlier on, so I don't think he does. As Jamal Clouden sets the place, Ian McGowan is another car. He's in pit lane as well. As now Rob Smith crosses the line. DJ Phil, I believe that was just in the background. No, it's not. It is Gary Leach. And he doesn't set a lap time either. Old Sim Racer on a lap. Rob Smith gone wide. Ian McGowan's not setting a lap time. Darren Bell is currently on a lap. And a few cars not setting a lap time at this stage. Jamal Clouden is on provisional pole. But Matthew Duffin at the minute stuck behind the Aston Martin of Stephen Millington. As they come up towards the hairpin. Now Matthew Duffin, this is going to compromise his run here. And Matthew Duffin at this stage probably not going to improve on this one. As he still can't find a way through on the Aston Martin. But Matthew Duffin is going to start near the front with his championship rival further down. And into 130R they come. All these guys looking to improve on their lap time. Into the chicane they go. Matthew Duffin once again right on the back of the Aston Martin. And they come down towards the final corner. Matthew Duffin, I don't know if he's going to improve. They're going to the line as if they are. Matthew Duffin, 15,000s. Has he improved? No, he hasn't. Stephen Millington does, though. Andy coming to the line. Does he improve? He doesn't, but Darren Bell goes into third. Robert Ramsell goes fourth. Jamie didn't get a lap time on the boards. And that is that. Clouden on pole position from Duffin, from Bell, from Ramsell, from Millington, from Cummings, from Andy, from Old Sim Racer, who Darren and Rob Smith, the last of the guys who actually set a lap time. KLF will start in 11th. Will Friedman will start 12th. Jamie 13th. Taylor in 14th. Susie's Cream in 15th. Tipping 16th. McGowan in 17th. DJ Phil 18th. And Gary Leach at the back of the pack. As we're going to get things underway once again here for the third and final time tonight. It is Jamal Clouden on pole position this time round. So I will get a poll for you guys. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simplay Motorsport. Oh God. I think we're going to have an outside bet here. If you do want to be a part of the action here at Simplay Motorsport in the new year, then please get yourself in our Discord and get yourself signed up on the Sim Grid as well. You've got to get your hot stints done. That will not change. That will stay forever pretty much until Simplay is done on ACC. But it's Jamal Clouden on pole. Yep, so get that done. If you do want to help us out on the channel as well and be a part of the team, then there's a job application form. Obviously, it is voluntary. You will not get paid for it. It's just like, think of it as a community or a club and helping us out run the channel in its day-to-day basis with stewarding, commentating, social media, anything like that, then please obviously feel free to fill in all the information on that as well. And if you do also want to be a Patreon as well, then feel free to have a look at the Patreon system as well. With only £3, you can £3 a month, you can get yourself some little extra advantages here on the channel. as I'm trying to find my little display of that. And as always, feel free to have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. Fantastic sponsors as well, that's always helped us out on the channel. And all their information is in the description below. So go and give them a follow and a like on all of their channels. They're just prepping themselves for the race now, making sure they get all the temperatures in the right window. And vote on who you think is going to win this one. It's going to be an interesting race 3 here. Very mixed up grid. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action. Jamal Clouden leading them round at the minute. And just on the screen now, you'll see our Patreon support system. If you want to be a part of that, £3 a month will allow you to reserve your preferred race number, prioritise on access to the SimPlay events and sign-ups as well, track suggestions towards future seasons, pre-season promos as well, and you automatically be updated and shared onto your social media as well. As we now get ourselves prepped and ready to go here for the GT Force. This will be their last run through here at Suzuka. But they will be heading stateside for the final time, and they will be heading to Texas for the Circuit of the Americas. What an exciting finale we are going to have. But into the final few corners they come. But it is Jamal Clouden, Matthew Duffin on the front row. We're going to start in helicopter cam. We got Darren Bell in the Mercedes-Benz as well. He's going to be wanting every opportunity to work his way through the pack. Chevy versus Mercedes, America versus Germany. Who's going to come out on top? That is the question. We are green and go. DJ Phil gets a drive through instantly. Matthew Duffin's had a poor start, and that's going to allow Darren Bell to look up the inside of turn number 1, and it does so, and Darren Bell goes into turn number 1, and Matthew Duffin's going to look back up the inside once again and holds on to that position further back. Meanwhile, Will Friedman has got himself, where is Will Friedman actually? He's down in 13th, so he's had a pretty poor start. He's at the back of the pack, but Jamal Clouden leading the way as Darren Bell already under some pressure from Robert Ramsell and his teammate Stephen Millington as well. Right behind them, Alistair in 6th, with Andy dropping behind old Sim Racer, and KLF and Jamie continuing on their fight. Gary Leach has already worked his way up the order. But it is Jamal Clouden leading the way here. And he has got Matthew Duffin breathing down his neck. Heading up towards the hairpin we go. Matthew goes to the outside. try and get the run on Jamal Cloudon, but can't quite do so. Everyone else seems quite well behaved further back, as Will Friedman trying to just clear the traffic here. He's got Ian McGowan in front of him as well, who's got quite a lot of pace in his car. As Jamal Cloudon and Matthew Duffin go on the attack. Darren Bell running a little bit wide there as they all work their way through Spoon. Anyone on the move? Will Friedman has cleared DJ Phil and is now going to be on the back of McGowan. And McGowan's going to go up the inside of Tipping there, and Susie's Cream is then the next threat here to go on board with Susie's Cream. Right behind him is Ian McGowan looking at the inside, and in the background as well as Will Freeman going up the inside of Tipping, and that's another job done for him as well, so he gains a position from that one. Back to the front, it is Jamal Cloudon leading the way, but he's got Matthew Duffin hunting him down. In second place, Darren Bell in third. Robert Ramsell sticking with them at the minute. Stephen Millington just keeping Alistair at bay as everyone else works their way through. Gary Leach now onto the back of KLF. KLF's run a little bit wide there. That's going to give Gary the run that he possibly needs. He slid himself and he can't find a way through at the moment. Or can he? They're going side by side through the S's. Gary around the outside. Not quite going to have the inside for the next corner. Cloudon still defending heavily from Duffin, who's looking for an opportunity. And as Darren Bell's holding up the rest of the pack, that's allowing these two just to disappear from the rest. KLF still got Gary Leach right behind him. And there, Will Freeman up the inside of Susie Creek. Gary Leach is going to get the run there on KLF. They are side by side here. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin did look like he was quite close, but Gary's going the long way around through that right-hander, and it's going to be on the wrong line going into Spoon. Oh, just up ahead, Jamie has made contact with Darren, and that's 3 places there for KLF, Gary Leach and McGowan. And did Friedman get him? No, not quite. Meanwhile, back to the front, Jamal Cloudon still got Matthew Duffin behind them as they go through 130R. Down into the braking zone of the chicane. Matthew not close enough at this stage. Meanwhile, Bell has got Ramsell behind him. And everyone else as well. Did Gary Leach manage to get past the KLF? No, he doesn't. He ends up staying behind him, and McGowan now makes the move on KLF instead. So KLF once again under some pressure from the Mercedes. Here comes the Mercedes-Benz of McGowan. He's going to come around the outside of turn number 1. Is he going to try and get the job done? No, he's not. McGowan had to back out of it. McGowan with so much better momentum and pace here. Trying to find a way through if he possibly can, but can't do so. Gary Leach is now coming back. And Cloudon and Duffin still going at it for the moment. We go back to this KLF McGowan Leach fight, who's got Jamie and Friedman now onto the back of it as well. And KLF's gone a little bit wide through Dunlop. They're going down to Degner 1 and 2. Gary Leach has had a big moment there, and McGowan's up the inside, but he can't quite get his nose quite alongside. Cloudon and Duffin have switched positions, and Cloudon's lost the lead. KLF is now still holding that position. Here comes Gary Leach up towards the hairpin. Andy and Old Sim Racer having their own little scrap as well, and meanwhile everyone's battling it out while KLF holds up the entire pack. Oh, McGowan and Jamie come together there, and they both come off worse. Duffin though leads this race. as they head towards the treacherous 130R. Meanwhile, KLF still defending heavily from Gary Leach and Friedman. And so you can see the Porsche just sticking his nose out. Leach runs wide. That's going to be a child limits warning for Friedman to the outside of the chicane. He gets alongside Gary Leach. Can't quite get job done, trying to get a better run if he possibly can. Gary Leach attacking KLF. Well, he's got Friedman breathing down his neck at the same time. Here comes Friedman down to number 1. He goes. Is he going to go up the inside? Oh, he's not quite close enough as KLF has his own moment through Spoon. Turn number 1, sorry. And they all managed to survive through that. Meanwhile, Jamal Clouden hasn't given up on Duff, and he's onto the back of him once again. Bell's got Ramsell to deal with at this stage, and Stephen Millington. Alistair's in 6th, with Old Sim Racer in 7th. Andy right behind them, and not a million miles away is KLF as well. And up the inside goes Will Friedman. And job done there. Oh no, it's not. KLF comes back at him in Degner 1, and Gary comes at them in Degner 2. And Gary gets the pair of them, but he has a big slide. Gary Leach there gains a place on Friedman. He's now going to lose a place to Friedman. And KLF holds on to the position. Well, great racing from these guys. Jamie's now working his way back up the order. McGowan's looks like he's been in the pits, I think, or he's had a moment. But KLF defending for his mind from Will Friedman and Gary Leach. Will Friedman, though, looking to try and get the run on KLF. Once again, he runs a little bit wide. Clouden's now lost pace to Duffin as Bell now under some pressure from Robert Ramsell, who's right behind the Mercedes driver. Mercedes, Aston Martin driver Robert Ramsell runs a little bit wide. Into the chicane they go. Oh, Bell has a moment there, but Ramsell has the same moment. Back to KLF and Friedman, who's still got Gary Leach breathing down their neck. Just ahead of these guys is that fight of Darren Bell holding everyone up at the minute. Robert Ramsell just behind him, Steve Millington just there. Alistair's just ahead of Old Sim Racer, ahead of Andy, and then KLF's ahead of this four-way fight. It's slowly becoming, because Jamie's now onto the back of them. And you can see there once again KLF defending for his mitre. Gary Leach right behind Friedman. And this is where Will has that run. Will's going to go up the inside on contact made with KLF. And KLF once again into Degner 1. Stops Friedman, and Friedman goes wide.
We're at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
And Friedman now dropped behind Jamie once again. And Gary Leach now wanting a bit of the action on KLF. Touches the grass, KLF's gone deep and wide. And he loses out the position there to Jamie. And Friedman is now going to get through as well. Meanwhile, your lead is at the front of me. Jamal Clouden's got no answer to Duffin at this stage. Matthew Duffin pulling away from Jamal Clouden. The Bell still in third place. He's currently ahead of Robert Ramsell. And Stephen Millington trying to hunt him down. And then everyone else is pretty secure. Gary Leach is pulling away from these guys. It is now Jamie again against Friedman. Friedman around the outside of 130R. That would be brave. Jamie goes and turns in. And Jamie holds on to the position. But here comes Friedman, and KLF out of nowhere misses his brakes by the looks of things. And Friedman there having to take avoiding action there from KLF. But Will Friedman should have that position done, as KLF's now going to be under pressure from the two behind. Jamie running a little bit wide there. As Darren Bell now starting to hold up Ramsell a little bit more. Into Degner 1, there you go. Bell just trying to hang in there. As he's still got this Aston Martin chasing him down. Stephen Millington trying to catch his good friend Robert Ramsell as well. And Jamie now under some immense pressure from Will Friedman as they go up towards the hairpin. Go on board with Friedman as they head down towards Spoon. Looking to the inside of Spoon, no real room there at that stage. Jamie breaking a lot earlier than Friedman with a little bit more confidence. He's still got KLF and Hugh Darren not too far behind, but there's the run that he needed. And has he got the job done on Jamie? Yes, he has. And down the straight they go. The Porsche should be easily ahead of the Aston Martin. Hugh Darren looking up the inside of 130R of KLF. That's brave. And both run wide. Hugh Darren's going to have to pull out of it. And into the braking zone of the chicane they come. Meanwhile, Robert Ramsell has dropped down the order. He's now fighting Old Sim Racer. And oh, they come close together. Old Sim Racer up the inside and gets the job done on Stephen Millington, sorry. Where is Robert Ramsell? Robert Ramsell's down in 8th place position. He's being hunted down by Gary Leach, so Stephen Millington's dropped down the order. Alistair is now up into 4th, and Stephen Millington's gone off. And he's now going to be back in front of his old friend. But Matthew Duffin at the minute got this race under control. Jamal Cladden's had a moment through Degner 1, Bell in 3rd, Alistair sat in 4th, Old Sim Racer in 5th, Andy in 6th, 7th is Stephen Millington. And tonight there's not really been a standout driver tonight, really. Well, actually, no, there is one I have in mind for driver of the day. Excuse me. We are currently on board Andy, who is under some pressure from Stephen Millington. Andy trying everything he can just to stay in front of Stephen. As they go through 130R, he gets close, you can hear the Ginetta hit the limiter. Dropping down the gears he goes. It looks like Jamie's had another off somewhere, he's dropped down the order. He's now down into 16th place position. He's going alongside Hugh Darren. They've got damage, the pair of them, as they come to the chicane. Jamie's gone deep. And Friedman now has cleared Gary Leach. And he's now looking to try and catch Robert Ramsell. through the S's they go. Andy's had a pretty solid night's worth of racing here. Just ahead as Old Sim Racer kicks the dirt up a little bit as he's on the back, or trying to get onto the back of Alistair. We go on board with Stephen Millington, who's on the rear wing of Andy as they head up to the hairpin. Freeman's already done Ramsel, I think, up the inside. Goes Ramsel, he's trying to hold on to the position, but Friedman with the better traction and better momentum goes ahead of the Aston Martin driver. Andy meanwhile still under some pressure from Stephen Millington as DJ Phil gets right out of the way. And there is a poll going up for driver of the day, so get your votes in on who you think is driver of the day. But this is your closest fight at the minute. Actually, no, Gary Leach onto the back of Ramsel. Is your closest fight on track at this stage. And DJ Phil there, just in the way ever so slightly, stays to the right hand side for Friedman. Andy's broken away from Millington. And KLF is under some pressure from Dan Taylor. They've got McGowan behind them as well. Who Darren's been in the pit and changed the damage that has been on his car. Bit of damage there to the front of Jamie. He's trying to hold that strong as best he can. Dan Taylor trying to find a move on KLF at this stage. Can't seem to find a way through at this moment. And now Gary Leach attack it, Robert Ramsel. And Gary just a little bit squirrely there. Would have had the speed and momentum, but not quite enough as they head up towards the hairpin. Gary in the slipstream of the Aston Martin. Not going to do much with it though. And Will Friedman trying to catch the two in front to make as many places as he possibly can. Matthew Duffy meanwhile coming up to 130R, long gone in the distance from Jamal Clouden, who's just maintained that second place ever since. Third is Darren Bell, and he's holding off Alistair. Into the final chicane comes Matthew Duffy. He's got a 5-second gap. Is this going to be the last lap of the race? Matthew Duffin coming down towards the start-finish line. The clock's ticking down. We are going to get one more lap here at Suzuka, as Matthew Duffin starts his final lap here. Old Sim Racer has caught Alistair Andy under pressure from Stephen Millington, who's got Will Friedman right behind him. KLF and Dan Taylor still going at it. They've got McGowan right behind them, as Dan's gone a little bit deep there. And McGowan in that mighty Mercedes, a little bit of bad traction there from him. He's going to compromise his run towards turn number 1, but that Mercedes-Benz is very strong in a straight line, but he can't find a way through there. Old Sim Racer now onto the back of Alistair. The Porsche driver looking like he wants to get a 4th place, really add to his night's worth of racing here. Been fantastic all night long as Old Sim Racer have been here at Suzuka. The Porsche's been looking mighty here. Stephen Millington meanwhile has got the other Porsche behind him, and Will Friedman. Friedman's had a great run through there. He's looking up the inside of the kink. He'll get alongside, but he's not going to get the overlap. He is going to try and get the undercut, which he tries to do so. He's up the inside, but can't get the traction. Meanwhile, Gary still can't get past Robert Ramsell at this stage. Into Spoon they come. Alistair's just trying to hang on to that 4th place position as best he can. But Matthew Duffin going through 130R. Flashing lights already. You know, Matt, don't do that, because you know what happens if you flash too early. Through the chicane he goes. Matthew Duffin is going to add a race win to his name. Out of the final corner he comes. Matthew Duffin wins here at Suzuka for race 3 here. Matthew Duffin takes the win. Jamal Clouden is going to come home in that 2nd place position. He'll be happy with that one. Darren Bell is going to finish in 3rd place, with Alistair coming home in 4th. Old Sim Racer finishing in 5th place, with Andy in 6th. Millington is he going to hang in there? Is he going to get out dragged? He does hang in there against Friedman. Ramsell finishes in 9th ahead of Gary Leach. Tipping is going to exit the final corner here and take that 11th place position. Then it's going to be Ian McGowan, who's just going to finish ahead of Dan Taylor. KLF dropping down the order in the end. Dan Taylor actually gets McGowan at the end. McGowan gives the position. KLF is going to come home in that 14th place position, with Rob Smith in 15th. And Jamie is going to finish in 16th. DJ Phil was 17th. Susie's Creams is 18th. And Hugh Darren finishing in a 19th place position. And that is that, as we just wait for Jamie to come to the line. And out of the final corner comes Jamie. And Jamie finishing in 16th place position, completing the order. And that was that for the GT4s. Matthew Duffing winning that one, as we will get Jamal Clouden and Matthew Duffin are both in here. But what an exciting night's worth of racing we have had here. It's been spectacular to watch. And once again, Matthew Duffin leaves Suzuka with quite a comfortable lead now. Will Freeman's running out of time to really bring this fight to him in the championship. And if anything, it's looking more and more in Matthew Duffin's hand as we head to Kota. Then we head to Autumn Park, and then we head to Donington Park as well. Get your votes for driver of the day. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. And hit that bell so you don't miss any of the action here at Simplay Motorsport. And yeah, it's been a fantastic night's worth of racing. Driver of the day for myself, I'm going to give it to Old Sim Racer. He's been fantastic and consistent all night long. Matt's been well to defend as much as he can. Friedman's been fast. Steve Millington, another honourable mention, but for me, Old Sim Racer was probably the most consistent tonight, and brilliant job from himself. As we do also have a Tank in the chat with me, Darren Bell. So we do have the top 3 with us, which is nice to see. So we'll start with Darren. And Darren, obviously a long time since you've been racing, been out for a while due to sorting out your internet and moving house and everything. But you come back in the GT4s. The first couple races were a bit getting yourself back into GT4 racing, but race 3 in the end, you got yourself on the podium. How's that feel? Obviously, the Mercedes-Benz didn't... Well, it seemed to be in all sorts of different modes tonight. It seemed like in McGowan's hand it was very strong. Matt was struggling a little bit. How was the car feeling for you? Because it seemed like it was... One minute it was your best friend, the next minute it was on a knife edge. Obviously, with your rig all set back up, internet working, and everything running nicely, we should hopefully see you tomorrow night in the Pro-Ams for the next round of this. And obviously, the big boy Mercedes-Benz coming onto here on this circuit. How do you think you're going to get on around this circuit with the GT3 Mercedes? Mm-hmm. Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the podium tonight, and best of luck tomorrow night. And we now move on to your second place man, Jamal Clouden. Clouden, another night, another GT4 drama-filled racing. Highs, lows, as much as a roller coaster. It seemed like it was going great, it was going wrong, and it was going average. Sum up your night, mate. It seemed like you've been here, there, and everywhere.
Just that, been there, here, there, and everywhere. Tough night at the box office. Silly mistakes, people getting taken out. Yeah, nothing more to add to that, really. I mean, race 3, decent. Chevy was just no match for the AMG around here. AMG was just a lot more planted, better on the brakes, better traction. So, yeah, it was just a mediocre night.
It seemed like you and KLF seemed to be like magnets tonight. You were very close and a great fight in between the two of you. Probably what held you up in race 2, that one, was probably yourself and KLF.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to say too much, but yeah, that's what pretty much ruined race 2, because I had the pace to get up the grid into like the top 6, but yeah, battling KLF was just what ruined my race.
Obviously, next race is the Circuit of the Americas. We go to COTA next. Obviously, the Chevy, strong in a straight line, not really too much tight, twisty stuff, so it could work into your favor around there, possibly.
Yeah, with like their version of like maggots and beggets, it's very similar to the S's here at Suzuka, and the Chevy was fairly planted, so because it's quite high speed, I think the Chevy's got a very good chance to do well there. But again, we'll see. I haven't driven around there yet in the car. I only know it from the McLaren, but yeah, we'll see.
And a quick word on Thursday night, obviously into the Mercedes-Benz for Suzuka. How's the prep going for that?
Hit and miss. I do like Suzuka. The car does feel good, but it's just, yeah, at the minute, no pace. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen.
Exactly, man. Anything can happen. But nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the second place tonight.
Thank you very much. And congratulations to Matt as well.
And we go to Matt. And Matt, obviously, you don't like this circuit. I know fondly that you detest this circuit. You've now got a race win on this circuit. Has it changed your mind yet?
No. It's funny you said the same thing at Bathurst as well.
I mean, the circuits you don't like, you seem to be winning. Funny that. It seems to be...
Sound familiar?
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, yeah, I mean, you walk away here extending your championship lead over Will Friedman. Obviously, you got to start thinking that the championship might be there or thereabouts. Obviously, with this 3-race format, it can still fold the way of Friedman. But you got to start be thinking that championship is in the bag, surely.
Kind of got one eye on it. But it takes one bad week, 160 odd points I think you can score in the week. So it's one bad week or one miss week. I've got a couple of birthdays coming up within the next couple of weeks. So, one miss week and all of a sudden that championship's blown wide open. So it's going to be difficult. It's not done yet, but fortunate, I think, tonight is the main thing. Friedman seems to get caught up in race 1 and race 3 because he was just lightning tonight.
He was very good. That Porsche looked mighty. It's not just him. It was all the old sim racer who looked very, very competitive in it as well. Obviously, we go from one circuit that you despise to another circuit that you're not too fond of either. We go to America once again. We head to Texas for Circuit of the Americas. I got a funny feeling the Mercedes should be relatively good round there, but I might be wrong. How are you? How's your mindset for Kota?
Mindset's positive going into Kota, but yeah, I think that's the worst American circuit on this game. We'll see what we can do. Look, we've just got to take chip points away. You know, if we follow Friedman home or finish as close to Friedman as possible now at this stage of the season, that's a bonus for us. We've just got to not let him gain too many points going into two tracks at the back end of the season that I feel pretty confident at.
And obviously, it's like I said, it's going to be another championship to possibly your name. Would this be one of the hardest? Would it go up there with one of the best? Or
yeah. I think you have to look back to the Misano disaster of the reverse grid that's kind of put me in such a lead. But this has been a tough championship. Jamal, Gary, Skunky, McGowan, Friedman, all on their day are capable of taking a lot of points. Then the old sim racer, NLR Andy, they've been around. Sam's done a few bits. Tipping's been tough. O'Reilly when he was here. You know, there's so many drivers on their day. And then obviously the inclusion of Robert Ramsell
Stephen Millington.
Stephen Millington, that's the one. You know, the inclusion of them two in the last couple of races has just been, you know, has made the grid even tougher. So, yeah, it's been one of the toughest championships. I think that it's up there with the Pro one on Project Cars against Overtaker for sort of how tough this one was. But yeah, you know, it's not done yet. We've got another bad circuit for myself to go, but I seem to like you just said, I seem to have gone well at the bad circuits, and we've got the two British ones after that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, the finale this season is one that I'm hoping to be really strong at. Home circuit always seem to go well there and get good results. So we'll see. But yeah, onwards and upwards. Just want to say as well, great race for Darren Bell. Missed a month, back for one race and gets a podium. Fantastic result for him, and a great drive from everybody in race one. It was great battles with them, and Cloud in race two. The respect from that man. Through Dunlop and the Degners, a huge respect for him, because you know not a lot of people will be able to go side by side through Dunlop and the Degners, but with Jamal you can always go pretty well with. So that packet of Quavers and a Cadbury's Cream Egg still on the table, Jamal. Just want you to contemplate that one, what we spoke about the other day.
Leave it out.
Yeah.
Right. What I don't know.
I'll let you in on it after the stream.
Okay, whatever that means. But nonetheless, congratulations on the win, Matt, and extending the championship lead. The championship lead is looking like this. Matt has got 1,064 points to his name, and he's now 196 points ahead of Will Friedman. Clouden is still mathematically in it, but he's 334 points. And Skunky drops to fourth. Gary Leach is still mathematically in it, as is Hugh Darren, Andy, and Old Sim Racer. But all of them are more likely to go out in the next few races. But obviously, a lot of things have changed in the championship standings. They will be posted up in the Discord very, very soon. It's a long list to go through, and my voice has gone. There's the championship. There is the standing still. Calendar still left to go. We've got Kota and the two British final rounds, Orton Park and Donington Park, and that will be the GT4s over for this year and this season. Who knows? They might make a return back. We do not know, or we might have something very new again. Who knows? Make sure you stay tuned in to find out all the action of that as well. Make sure you're in the Discord. Make sure you are in the sim grid as well. Get your hot stints done, ready for the new year, so that you can be prepped and ready for another awesome awesome new year of racing here on Simplay Motorsport. Matthew Duffin has probably got one hand on that trophy, but as he says, just takes a bad round, and Will Friedman is back in this championship hunt. I've been Dan Davis. This has been Simplay Motorsport, and we will see you tomorrow night with myself and Matt bringing all the action in Pro-Am. Good night. And we're clear.
Come on.
I've been laughing the whole time.
Fucking what? Cream eggs.
I've just been joking with him, right? And we were sat there the other day, and obviously Jamal looking at getting a PC. I said about doing some stuff on PC. You know, come and race with Simplay Racing.
Fucking gay.
What do you mean gay?
And then since then, I was there the other day and said, should we wind John up? He's like, what are you going to do? I said, oh, if I'm going to offer you a packet of quavers a week or something to come and race for Simplay Racing. But then Jamal over here decided to go join John in a party and wouldn't say it. So I was like, Jamal, sends an invite to your party, and he did. And I came in and I went, so what we was discussing earlier, I've upped it to a cream egg as well as a packet of quavers. What do you think?
I was laughing, and then I said, yeah, make it Reese's Pieces one, yeah? Peanut butter, yeah?
So you're looking at leaving Greasy Bandits to go to Simplay Racing? That's